Hello everyone, this is Meina, your crypto friend. In this week's edition of CryptoMeina and Bitpush Weekly Web3 News, I will cover Coinbase's space, Hong Kong's Web3 boom, and Federal Reserve meeting minutes. Tune in for the latest update on these developments in crypto. Over the past week, the crypto community has seen Coinbase join the Ethereum scaling race. On February 23rd, Coinbase announced the launch of the Base testnet based on OP Stack. The OP Stack is a set of open-source tools and technologies that are used to develop and power optimism, which is a scaling solution for Ethereum. Base aims to introduce the next billion users to Web3, providing developers with an easier, lower-cost platform to build decentralized applications on-chain. Coinbase has also partnered with Optimism as the lead developer of the OP Stack. I invited Mai, the CTO at Curvance, a multi-chain lending market with native yield optimization and omnichain gauge system, to provide his outlook on Coinbase's Base.
I think Base is a really interesting kind of start to American companies jumping into the roll-up space. The roll-up as a service is kind of the main competitor to Cosmos, their kind of app chain design. You have the OP Stack kind of, spearheading a large portion of the Base ecosystem here. They've been a main contributor to the code base. They're a sponsor. They even have said that they're going to take a lot of the transaction fees for the network and put it back towards the Optimism. I believe it's the foundation, the actual spearheaded DAO structure. That's really beneficial in bootstrapping the entire super chain narrative that they're talking about. And when you look at a lot of the positives and the negatives of something like the app chain of Cosmos versus the super chain design, you have a lot more security in terms of the canonical bridge of Ethereum maintaining a lot of your assets, so it's safer. And we'll just have to see how Coinbase really tackles the regulatory problem, because the regulatory landscape of the United States is really kind of difficult right now. There isn't a lot of guidance and a lot of clear indications of what you can or can't do. So I'm interested to see how Coinbase kind of tiptoes around that and stays out of trouble, hopefully. But when you look at what Coinbase has done historically, I think a lot of their products, ignoring the NFT marketplace, have been really stellar and by the book. So I think that them entering into the roll-up space is a kind of a logical step for them. We just also have to make sure that it doesn't lead to things like KYC requirements for utilizing the chain and a lot of these more draconian approaches that you could see in a really strict regulatory framework. So if we're talking about, kind of the bullish case, it's that they're able to kind of maintain, that level of, kind of crypto ethos that a lot of people hope for in terms of decentralization and stuff. I know at the start, they're making it fully centralized with what they call kind of like I believe they call it like a level 0 roll-up, where it's fully centralized with a, just them hosting the sequencer, and then they aim to, decentralize it over time. That's currently the state that all rollups do. So really none of them are decentralized. But, if they can make that transition from a centralized rollup, sequencer structure to something more robust and decentralized, I think that could have a huge impact. And I'm hopeful that, this can be an opportunity that, regulators and such can see what Coinbase is able to accomplish with the crypto space at large, and potentially walk back some of their more, aggressive, regulation by enforcement design that they've really been leveraging the last, year, 2 years at this point, especially recently with all these, kind of attacks on Binance, for example, and such. But it's too early to really say which way this goes. But I think there's a lot to be hopeful for, and there's a few things to look out for. Like definitely we want to, kind of avoid the Fed chain, as they say.
I just hopefully this time the execution will be better than the NFT marketplace.
Yeah, I think they have like $500 in volume per day, so could hopefully be better.
Hong Kong's Web3 friendly policies have made the Chinese crypto community boil again. In the consultation document, the SFC said it would allow individual investors to trade large cap tokens on exchanges licensed by SFC, subject to safeguards such as knowledge testing, risk tolerance assessment, and reasonable risk exposure restrictions. In addition, Chen Maobo, Financial Secretary of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region government, said in his budget speech that he will allocate 50 million yuan to accelerate the promotion of the Web3 ecosystem. Crypto traders continue to focus on the direction of U.S. monetary policy. The minutes of the January 31st to February 1st meeting showed that almost all Fed officials supported a 25 basis point rate hike, with a few members saying they wanted a 50 basis point hike. In addition, the PCE, the Fed's favored inflation gauge, rose more than expected in January, suggesting that inflation has started to accelerate in the new year and the central bank has more work to do to bring it down. To summarize, Coinbase's base testnet launch and Hong Kong's Web3 friendly policies have been positive developments for the crypto industry. However, traders remain uncertain about the direction of U.S. monetary policy, with the Fed's recent meeting minutes indicating a likely rate hike and rising inflation. As the industry continues to evolve, it will be interesting to see how global regulators respond to the increasing demand for decentralized finance solutions. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye!